the overall money being spent on the show. Maybe now they're not able to bring in that one extra talent because they need to do this. There's also the way the wrestlers can conduct themselves at shows. The heels are heels. The heels come down, they talk trash. It's their thing. They get into verbal confrontations with the fans, things along that nature. The New York Athletic Committee wants that toned down. They basically don't want to engage in any endangering of the public conversation. So, obviously, physically, it should never happen physically, regardless. But no threaten. You can't threaten. You can't threaten a hit. You can't make the public feel that their self-being and health are in danger. I know it sounds like like a no-brainer, but you got to understand this is entertainment. So for a wrestler to come down and put his finger in the face of a fan and say, shut your face before I, slap the taste out of your mouth, something The Rock used to do, that's no longer going to be allowed to be done, because now that fan can turn around and say, well, I felt like my well-being, my health, I was in danger, and they can turn around and start suing these companies, and one of these companies gets sued once, they're done, they're gone. And I think they've me personally, I think they've opened up a can of worms here that's going to lead to some ridiculous stuff down the road with fans. Obviously, your loyal fans they're your loyal fans. It's just the way they're gonna, they're gonna be. They're gonna try to push the note with the wrestlers, and the wrestlers got to learn how to not bite. So we'll see what happens. Also, we had in the past where, say, a promoter was suspended or not available for that show, but they still put the show on. And what they would do is they would have someone else there acting as the licensed promoter. They're not going to allow that to be done anymore. And especially if it's a New Jersey promoter. They're not going to allow a New Jersey promoter to be able to be the licensed person at a New York show. I've seen it before. I'm not going to get into details. We'll talk about that and see if any of our promoters that are coming on today want to, admit or acknowledge this particular part of the rule changes. So, but yeah, it could cost them their license, and they're considering it fraudulent practice or dishonesty, misleading advertisement, including a professional wrestling event as anything but an exhibition, and could cost you your license if you're not the licensed promoter putting on the show. So it's gonna get a little crazy. It's starting to get tit for tat. It's starting to get a little ticky tacky here, and now with the big screw up that they had a couple weeks ago with the intergender match with Bonesaw Jesse Brooks, no mention of that in the new rules. No mention of it. Obviously it's allowed, but there's no rule saying that it is allowed. It should. I think it specifically should be a section in there that says intergender matches are allowed. It shouldn't be left for questioning, but it has not. They're also trying to get away from using tables in matches, which are a huge part of hardcore wrestling. What do you do here? You got House of Hardcore. You have, I understand they're not out of New York, but some of these guys do wrestle in New York. So now you're going to take a guy that's been wrestling for House of Hardcore or CZW or GCW, and now they go and wrestle in New York, and that's like a big part of their gimmick, and now they can't do it. They're not allowed. And to me, I think it's nuts. that they're not allowing any of this stuff. It just, I don't know. I don't understand what made all this change. You know, how does this affect mainstream wrestling? WWE, when they're at the Barclays, you know, there's a new curfew that's going to be run, that no promotion can run past 11 p.m. So when WWE Raw, even this past August, they ran past 11 p.m. So now how does this affect us now? You know, when you have NXT Takeover and you have SummerSlam or anything else that happens to be done, a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live at the Barclays, Brooklyn, New York. How does this affect this now? Does it affect mainstream? Does Vince McMahon have enough pull to say "F you"? I don't play by your rules. You know, how does this work? I mean, we've seen plenty of shows. SWF Live in New Jersey. We've seen plenty of his shows go over the 11 p.m. mark. Granted, it is New Jersey, but again, why is it okay in Jersey but not okay in New York? You want professional wrestling to be kind of even across the board, regardless of what state you're wrestling for, wrestling out of, whatever promotion your company calls home. This is going to cause some companies maybe to no longer wrestle out of the state of New York. Warriors of Wrestling used to wrestle out of New Jersey, and then they moved to New York. Could this prompt them to get up and go back to the Garden State? I don't know, but we're going to ask Joe Bellini of Warriors of Wrestling if that's a possibility. I mean, granted, his fan base could take a hit. He does have a very loyal fan base. Will they go to New Jersey, or will they, or will he lose them? You know, and will he have to build a brand new fan base? You know, that's something that him and the powers that be with Warriors would have to sit down and discuss for their future. You know, does some of these rules cause a lot of these companies to close up shop and disappear? You know, you have some of these shows that only do about 4 or 5 shows a year because it takes them that long to come up with the money to save for a show and to put money together for a show. Now, does this cause them to just close up shop and say see you later? Stuff like that remains to be seen. So it's gonna be very weird in the state of New York to see how strict they are going to be with these rules. Are they going to really, really crack down and say no? Are they going to, obviously somebody's going to be at these events and they're going to, be monitoring the situation. I mean, I usually always see a New York State Athletic Commission representative at the Warriors of Wrestling show. I always see a doctor at the show. So apparently that's not enough anymore. So I don't know. It's going to be a really weird situation now with wrestling, with local independent wrestling. I just hope that right now they're not going to try to take the fun, out of wrestling, because it just, I don't want to say these guys are set on their ways. I mean, most of them are, and a lot of wrestlers are set on their ways, but the bottom line is, if they can just pull your license at any moment now because they feel you violated something, or they can suspend you over any little, small minor detail, it puts a lot of pressure on these promoters now to make sure that they not only put on a great show, but they put on the perfect show, where not only the fans are happy, but New York State is happy, and the wrestlers are happy, and it's going to make their job a lot harder. That I can tell you for 100%. It's, and where does this go for New Jersey now? Does New Jersey promoters kind of say, hey, well, that's your problem, and we're going to do our thing over here and, not worry about it. What about the wrestlers themselves? Somebody that might wrestle in New York and somebody who wrestles in New Jersey. We're going to be talking to Dirtbag Dan in a little while, and he's exactly that example. He wrestles at Warriors of Wrestling in New York. He also wrestles for SWF Live in New Jersey, amongst other shows. So it's almost like he's got to change the way he is depending on what show he's on. And again, it's his entertainment. So where do you draw the line and say, all right, you're not allowed to do this here, but you can do that there, and why does it make it any different? Why can you use a table here, but you can't use a table there? Why can't I just tell a fan, to go F themselves, or stick my finger in his face and say I'll smack the taste out of your mouth? God no, nobody's gonna touch the guy or the girl or whoever. But when you're caught up in the moment doing your thing, the first thing in your mind is, oh, I got to remember I'm in New York. That's not what you're gonna do. You're in the mode. You're in gimmick mode. You're into entertainment mode. That's just the way it is. So I don't. To me, I think it's going to be very difficult for some of these wrestlers to separate where they are from New York and New Jersey, and I know things are going to go on in the locker room where the promoter's going to say, hey, look, you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to remember, and it's going to be a while before I think people, the superstars in the back, the wrestlers, are going to have to remember where they are and what they can do and what they can't do, depending on what show they're being paid to do that night. So I think it's going to be a little difficult, but I guess they can do it. They're professionals, they can do this stuff. So, but all right, we're going to take a little commercial break, and we're going to try to get some of these round table seats filled one at a time, as it's about 6:29 here on the East Coast. So let's take a commercial break. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hello, this is the intrepid traveler, Paul London. Good journey, y'all. When you're ready to whip your rock out, do it with Coach Kev at Damage 365 Radio.
Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. Check us out at one of our fine locations, 930 Route 34 in Matawan, New Jersey, or 233 East Main Street in Manasquan, New Jersey. From pizza and salads to pasta and buffalo wings, we have something to suit every member of your family. Whether you're seeking to take out, delivery, or just want to dine in, let us do the dishes. We would be more than happy to take care of your next meal. Our courteous and friendly restaurant staff is here to meet and exceed all your expectations. We promise an enjoyable experience each and every time we serve you. Try our award-winning sesame seed crust pizza, the recent winner of first place in the Las Vegas Pizza Open in the Artisans Division. Visit us online at sesameseedpizza.com for store hours, menus, and phone numbers, or just stop by one of our two great locations. You'll be glad you did. Esposito's Pizza and Pasta, so close to eating at Mom's, but without all the yelling.
You're listening to Damage 365 Radio, and this is ECW Original, the Angry Amish Warrior Roadkill. Chickens.
What's up, everybody? This is Coach Kev of the Damage 365 Radio Network. I want to talk to you about one of our sponsors, the Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore. That's right.